an associated member of T3 Trading Group, an SEC registered broker-dealer, and member of FINRA SIPC. All trades placed by myself, Patrick, are placed through T3 Trading Group. You should carefully consider whether trading is suitable for you in light of your financial condition. Position disclosure, long, currently, Dropbox, MoneyGram, WeWork, and Inseego. Okay, so wow, what a day, right? Title of the video I made is Q's breakout over 400, and that's exactly what we're seeing. So basically, last 2 weeks we had a sharp decline, followed by a V bottom last week. Last week was a 4-day week, so this was Monday when we were extended to the downside, and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, into the holiday. And then now here we are, Monday, December 27th. Supposedly the start of the Santa rally. That's what people are saying today. I was reading things that it starts last week on, last Monday. Does Santa even exist? I don't know. I don't know the exact date for the Santa rally, but that was the big talk on TV today. But that being said, it is definitely quite a day. I mean, we came in today not cautious because we were expecting a pullback, but just, okay, we just had quite a bounce. We just had quite a move. Things have moved, pretty far. We're not like super extended on the daily coming into the day today, but things have moved pretty far, pretty fast over the last 4 days. So we probably need to chill a little bit. And I was definitely wrong on that looking at this candle. We had just straight continuation today. So SPYs, S&P, ES futures, all-time high, new all-time high trading intraday, and new all-time high closed. Woohoo. And then Q's, 400. This 400 is a really, really solid level, not just because it's a big whole number, but you can just see this daily chart here. Really been butting its head against it. We barely got over it, and then a big rejection before snapping back here to the 50-day in the Q's. And you can even see it on the weekly, which we discussed a little bit pre-market this morning. So let's look at our weekly charts, right? So last week, really solid candle in all the indices last week, and now Qs are breaking above and closing above really well this 400 level. Qs look pretty good there. SPY, sick candle last week, breaking out over this 470, 472. It's kind of a little bit of an area. SPY looks fantastic on the weekly, not extended at all. And IWM, very, very solid candle. We had a really long discussion about this 210 level in IWM and how important it was to not lose it, which we lost it one day, but that day snapped back above it and closed at 212 that day. And now, although we're back into equilibrium, this is a bottoming candle. This is kind of an indecisive candle where we opened up and traded higher, but then sellers took control and we closed below, halfway below the rally. This is not really a bottoming candle. This is definitely a bottoming candle on the weekly for IWM. So despite our daily charts being a little bit, coming into today being a little bit extended, now definitely being extended, these weekly charts look really, really solid after, 2 months or so of consolidation. 2 months we basically went nowhere. So yeah, I mean, I was wrong on the market this morning for sure. I wasn't expecting this strength, and it's definitely fascinating to see. So although we are extended on our daily charts now with SPY at 477 and the daily ADMA at 468, that's probably going to be higher this morning or tomorrow morning. I don't know if it's adjusted yet. Today kind of felt like a day one. So I guess we definitely could rest. We definitely deserve to rest. And I don't think it's responsible to come in and buy tomorrow looking for a day two. It's never really great to buy day twos. But that being said, I would be careful shorting, looking for, I would not short this extension expecting a move back down to this ADMA. I don't think that's going to happen. What should happen is some sort of rest where this daily 80 MA catches up to this low and then ultimately catches up to 400. These weekly charts look great. So after today, what to look for tomorrow, I guess. I mean, we'll see how we gap. If they gap us up big, that could be interesting for a cute little short. But unless they gap us up big, it'll probably be a little bit tricky and a little bit of a less is more open tomorrow, just because of where we are on our daily charts. It makes sense to see some chop because we're extended. But again, today kind of felt like a day one. This Q breakout of 400 is really solid. And SPY is at all-time high. Is the Dow at all-time high? No, not quite yet. And then IWM pretty much, bottomed last week. The weekly chart is saying that IWM bottomed last week. Doesn't mean it has to go up tomorrow, but point is, careful shorting. I would not short these daily charts looking for a move back down here. I don't think that's going to happen. We look pretty good. A lot of names look good too. So what we look at this morning, I don't think we really looked at Apple this morning just because of Friday's candle was okay. It wasn't like a nice rest day. Now that I look at it, you got kind of Friday was kind of like a bullish doji sandwich there. I guess I should have called that this morning. But Apple looks solid, right? NVIDIA we looked at this morning through 300. That was probably my favorite call of the day. NVIDIA through 300. That happened pretty early, right? Yeah, first 10 minutes of the day. Just super, super, super strong today. AMD, I liked more on a pullback. I was looking at like a pullback level, but super, super strong for AMD, right? Like, even though, like, similar but different, even though you've had 3 days in a row and today's your fourth up day for AMD, it's breaking out of this consolidation that it's been putting in since basically the beginning of December, right? AMD hasn't really been at these levels since like the first couple days of December. So although it's a day 4 up, it kind of looks and felt / feels like a day 1 for AMD. So, do you come in and buy AMD tomorrow? No. But do you expect a pullback to here tomorrow? Definitely not. AMD looks strong, looks great. The socks? Wow. All-time highs, new all-time highs, and all-time high close for the socks, which is the semis. The other one you can look at is SMH. Same thing, new all-time high close. Not quite all-time highs, but new all-time high close for the SMH. Semis look fantastic, like fantastic. That's super healthy for the market. Facebook we looked at this morning as well. I think Facebook looks great too. If you got on Facebook today, I would definitely swing that. Facebook looks great. Amazon, there was definitely, so the other thing, I guess, the other point I want to make, because I don't really have too much to talk about other than, everything looks great, is anything that does not look great. And this market, more than ever, I feel like over the past year or so, relative strength and relative weakness is so important to watch and pay attention to. So anything that was not strong today, don't, just do whatever you want, but I'm not going to come in and try to be a hero and try to, pick bottoms on these names that on a day where things were pretty much as strong as they could have been, and it's not like the IWM was weak today, so you can say, oh, the IWM was weak, so, whatever, this name was weak. If you had a name that was weak today, I would be careful there. And Amazon's one of them. Amazon Inside Day was a idea that I liked this morning as well, and it broke really nicely and gave a pretty nice move. Solid 15 points or so. But then, V-bottom, whatever you want to call that, arrow top, basically reversed straight back down, broke day lows, and then spent all day trending down. The Qs looked like this today. No sellers, absolutely no sellers. This is like unbelievable strength, and Amazon looked like this today. It's kind of mind blowing, honestly. But so, it is what it is. Amazon doesn't look great. People don't like it, or at least big money doesn't like it. Amazon looks like that today, and the Qs and Apple looked like this today. So some of those names like Peloton, which had an okay, not even okay, a good looking candle on last Thursday. Peloton just still, like these names either were all buyers and no sellers or all sellers and no buyers today. And before I was going through the all buyers, and now I'm going through these names that are like all sellers, no buyers still. Peloton just rejected at the moving average. DraftKings failed the moving average, was trying, and failed, was super, got pretty extended into 28 here. And, as I like to say, extension always corrects itself. Always, always, always. That's why, you don't buy, 28s like here expecting a huge move, but, over here, 28s, I mean, you're extended a little bit. You got, a bit more probability on your side for at least a bit of a bounce to trim into. But sold off and just basically no bounce besides this, and just dead for the rest of the day. I guess it held 28, but DraftKings does not look good on the daily chart. Neither does Peloton. And the other one that people were looking at was this Fubo. What did Fubo do today? Opened and sold, and sellers controlled all day, and it closed, little bounce from lows into the close, but basically sellers all day in Fubo. So I don't really know what to say about these names. There's nothing really to say. Just the big money's not interested in it right now. Maybe they will be, and when they are, we'll probably see some signs start to come in, like bigger, better looking flow in the names. But these names, I would be very careful trying to pick bottoms in these names, for now, anyway. Because basically the tax selling loss and all that stuff, like everything that says they should have bounced I feel like has come, and they're just, maybe this was all you got for that, and they're just going to resume these very, very ugly downtrends. So... that's all I really have to talk about. Just watch relative strength, relative weakness. Don't try to pick bottoms and names that were weak today, but for the most part, this market looks absolutely fantastic. Fantastic. Honestly, could not look better after 2 months of consolidation. So, enjoy the ride. We'll enjoy the ride while it lasts, and try to find, names you want to swing. You don't want to be buying a DraftKings, a relatively weak name to swing. You want to be buying something that's uptrending, and just assume that it's just going to keep uptrending. So we'll look for names. That's all I got. So if anyone has any questions about anything at all, or comments or concerns or complaints, feel free to share them now. So I'm going to scroll back up a little bit too. Maybe we could give us a trade in the next. We was strong today. Like that for sure. Who needs Peloton and a Fubo when you can just go to WeWork and get some work done, right? I hate to say it, but if there was a trade in it was probably today with this 8 level. Now, today's a day 1, so I'd probably wait a couple days. It looks good. Trying to turn around for sure, but I wouldn't necessarily just come right in and buy this tomorrow. Unless you want to give it to 8, then you can give it to 8. But looks good versus 8. Might need to build out something like a bull flag, though. Hey Pat, I bought Ford this morning at 9:45 at the break of yesterday's high versus the low of the 9:45 5-minute bar. I didn't get my 1-to-1 kick by 1 cent and got stopped out. Oh, oh man, that's terrible. Is there anything I should have done differently? You bought at the 9:45 bar. So you bought here on the break of highs. Good. assume you're okay. So I know exactly what your problem is here. So I assume you bought this bar and your out was the low of this bar. Is that correct? So the three or whatever two main rules for the out is that, like, I get that you're buying an ignition bar with volume, but the ADMA, like, that was your biggest problem here. Your ADMA just wasn't really caught up yet. Um, I, however, what would you have used for your out? Using this bar as low is probably too much risk for you to buy because you're probably trying to buy size. Um, so this is like just looking at this picture. Like either you could have bought versus this low, which is probably too much risk, or you could have gotten stopped out, but then recognized that just always recognize this rule, like you want your ADMA to be basically above your out. Apple closes New York City stores amid COVID strike. You want your ADMA to be above your out. That's a pretty important part of the rule, that, and you can see why right here, right? Got like tiny little bit extension, came back down. So what you could have done is recognize that, seen it come back down, see it, the ADMA, it touches the ADMA, tails up. That means there's buyers here at the ADMA and under, at this level, wherever, for whatever reason. Maybe they're watching the 7 EMA or the 9 EMA or the 8.5 EMA. It's not exactly the ADMA. It's not a magic line. But we know it's a good general area. So you see these two tails at this ADMA, and then it comes back up. So you could have tried again. I'm just like looking at this picture and try. I don't want to tell you something unrealistic, but that's probably the only thing I've seen that you could have done here, because you can't just say, oh, like the tape on Ford, the level 2 is so thick, you can't really be watching that and say, oh, I'm not going to get filled by 1 penny, I should move it down by 1 penny. Like, I don't know if that's, you're just probably wasting your time doing that. So I don't think you could have really done anything differently to get a fill or anything like that. The only thing I think you could have done is recognize that your ADMA hadn't caught up yet, and then you could have tried it right here again at this bar, and that would not have stopped you out and would have worked. So, yeah, that's really annoying. Sorry that happened. That's happened to me many, many, many times for sure. But I think that's what you could have done differently. Because if this was going to fail, like, it shouldn't really be doing this. It probably should, like, chop and then, fail, right? Like, you just think about it, like, psychologically, like the supply and demand dynamic of, buyers are buying it up. But if it's going to fail, it's because it got to a level where sellers want to sell, and they sell, and, sellers take control. But sellers didn't take control. Buyers took control. So, yeah, I hope that helps and makes sense. Yeah, I mean, like, I agree the low of the day is better, but, like, that type of trade, you're probably trying to get a quick, fast move, so you're probably buying, at least, like, for me, like, I get it, like, I'm trying to buy size in that, and then trim some soon, because I'm looking for momentum. So, yeah. Amazon, the haul, quick shake. Apple closes New York stores. Fubo, yeah, Fubo was, not great today. Fubo looks a little bit better because it's not quite at these lows, but it did fail its ADMA on the daily today. It's an inside day, but it looks like it's trying, and then it's just going to kind of like spill back over. It's kind of what it looks like it's happening. So how we close Santa Rally 31, we are closing everything or still keeping our swings. Definitely keep your swings according to your plans, and definitely use your proper outs for your swings. Don't sell because of whatever, Santa Claus rally. I think it goes a couple days into January. I don't think it ends at midnight on December 31st. I think it goes a couple days into January. Honestly, don't know the exact ending date, and I wouldn't trade necessarily based off the Santa rally. So, yeah, just stick to your game plan, Robert, and respect your outs on your daily chart. Daily levels are important. So yeah. Yeah, Derrick. I'm looking at YouTube questions now. Derrick is out today. RG. Derrick is skiing this week. I'm not getting a symbol for. Oh, I see you say you bought off .009, so that must be OTC. I can't trade penny stocks or anything OTC, so I apologize. When there's a pullback in equilibrium with a hammer, what is the strategy to enter? At the break of the top of the hammer with the bottom of the hammer tail as a stop, or wait for the inside candle break, or it depends on some other factors on determining the stop, like opening low. Pretty much what you said. So for Ford, I think I would stick. Normally, to answer your question, I would say on the break of the hammer, like on a pullback to equilibrium and then a break of a hammer. This isn't really I don't know if you can really call this a hammer. It's more just like a doji, and then this is a bit more of a hammer. I like when they close above the open. I know sometimes Derrick says like it can be red and still be a hammer, but I'm definitely a lot more of a fan of a hammer candle that has the close above the open. But so that being said, for like a name or a play like this, I would just stick with the daily level because the daily level is so close. Like I wouldn't just buy the high of this candle. I would just stick with the same level that you were buying before, which was 2040, I believe. Yeah, 2040. So I would just buy 2040 again here. Yeah. Check out Adam. I know that name. If trading for momentum, then trade stocks with momentum. Yes, I agree. I agree. Any other questions or anything? Kind of a shorter meeting today, but I guess nothing too really complex to go over at the same time. What are we doing after hours? We're trading up a little bit after hours. Futures open at 6. So we'll see if they do off the open. Yeah, unless they gap us to like, I don't know, they'd have to gap us up pretty big. We'll see. We'll see. It's definitely getting a little bit crazy here on the daily after today, but we're pretty strong. So ride the waves where you can find them and appropriately get in. So yeah, doesn't look like any other questions. So I guess I'll call it for the day. So yeah, have a good night, everybody. We'll see how they gap us overnight. Probably gap us up. I expect a small common gap up. If it's a big gap up, maybe it'll be a Q short, but otherwise, markets look good. So we'll continue to ride this bull market. See you guys tomorrow.